Hello everyone, welcome, welcome. So glad you can come back. Today I will probably be the last video on the construction of this folio. Before I get started though, I think I need a little bit of help. And that is, maybe you can vote for your favorite sheet down below. Just let me know which one do you think should be here at the back. Now I don't have any more of this colored paper, so I have to use something different, and this was one that I originally thought I would use, but then I thought, well, maybe I'll use this one. So let me know if you like the striped one or the one with the print on it. I just don't know. I just, so down below, just let me know to say stripe or print, whichever one you think looks the best here with that other paper. So anyways, that would be great if you could help me out with that, because I am really like on the fence. I kind of like both of them, and I just don't know which one. I thought, well, maybe, another pair of eyes. Sometimes that's what you need, is just another pair of eyes. So I have glued this on, and we constructed this, I believe, in the first video. So I went ahead and glued it on, and today I'm going to go over how I made this pocket and how I made the pocket over here. And I have glued on the front of the folio, and I put in a little metal nameplate there. So that's where I've gotten so far. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you the construction of these two things, and then we'll be back. For the inside flap, the one that is going to eventually fold over the whole folio, I didn't want to put anything that was too bulky or something, something that was a little bit on the flat side. So I made this long, tall, and skinny little mini notebook to rest in that little area there. And I just simply folded in half, some cardstock, and with a machine, I sewed in the pages, but you could definitely take your stapler and put, 2 or 3 staples in there and staple in some paper. And I have 2 sheets in here. Now, because there's going to be a little bit of bulk in this notebook, I'm going to put in a pocket that is just, on the same principle as the one that we made over here. And that is, I'm going to be putting flaps on the side and on the bottom. So you'll want to cut your piece. You'll want to add an inch on both measurements, your length and your width. You'll want to add an inch, and that way you'll have another ½ an inch to fold over if you're going to be using paper. You might not have vellum available to you, but you could definitely use scrapbook paper, and if you feel that it's a little thin, you can definitely fold it over like we did on the other envelope or other pocket. So that's what I'm doing, and the reason I'm doing this is for 2 reasons. One is vellum is not quite as giving as paper is, and I didn't want to put it so close to the base that I had a hard time getting this in, and so therefore this gives it a little bit more room. But also I still think it's a good practice even if you're going to use paper, just because I don't know if more things, maybe the person wants to add more things to here and maybe make it just a little bit bulkier. It's hard to say, so wanted to make sure there was a good amount of room. So anytime you have a piece of ephemera that's a little on the bulky side, then these kind of pockets here are work really well for that. Now, if you're just going to put something that's just like a tag and slip it in and out, you don't have to do that. In fact, it might even make the pocket too loose if you have something really thin. So that is I just wanted to share that little tip with you, just to show you what I'm doing. And of course, I have folded in the 2 sides first and then fold up the bottom flap last, and I've tacked them on there because by that way, you'll be able to slide this in and out a lot easier and not get hung up so quickly on the lip of the flap there. So that was just, I don't know, just a quick little review, and I will get this glued in. So it is dry. The pocket is on there. As you can see, there is plenty of room. And it does go in very easily, and I have room to add to this little notebook if I wanted to. Now, this could fall out if you shook it. And since this is on the flap, I am going to put in a little flap here to hold it down. This is why I don't sew these in until the very last minute, because I never know how I want to adjust that. And so I merely took a piece of ephemera and I cut 2 pieces of cardstock and layered them. So this is nice and heavy with the 2 layers on there, and created a little flap folded under. And then I've got these little Velcro dots. Not sure where I got these though. They're really small. Most of the ones I've seen are rather large, and if you can cut those down if you want to as well. I would definitely cut them down for something this small. And so how I put the Velcro dots on is I take one of the pieces off. So I took the base off and I put them together. So I have the base and I have the fuzzy part, and they're together, right? And they're sticky on both sides. And well, actually, I probably should be doing this first, just because this needs to be anchored in before we place our Velcro dots down. And I'm going to put it just a little bit up here, just enough, maybe come down a little bit. There we go. I think that's about right. Okay, and get that glued in straight. That looks good. And then with the 2 pieces together, then I just put down and glue it inside the tab in the middle like that. And then all you got to do is press down and glue this one down right here. All right, and that should be right there for you. Now I think what I'm going to do is, because this is vellum, I'm going to lift up and put extra glue underneath it. That should be fine in the paper. Yeah, the vellum might give way a little bit more because it is a different kind of a surface. But I think that will be great. I'll let it dry before I test it out. But that's how I put those 2 together. And this way, it won't fall out. And I was just concerned because this is part of this outside flap here. So that's what I did for that. Just thought I'd share that with you. And a quick heads up on the using Velcro, and that is, if you have just plain paper, Velcro sometimes is a little too strong, and there's always a possibility of tearing. The vellum is really strong, and so is the cardstock. So an alternative to that, if that's what you're using, would be just to take a piece of string or cording. This is hemp cord. I got this in the jewelry department. I usually use that in most of my ties. And you can just glue behind there then the hemp cord, and then you could tie that closed if that was a concern for you. Now we come to the last panel here, and because this has gotten to be quite bulky, it's quite a bit in here, I don't want to make this one too much because it's starting to take up room in my spine, and I still have my papers to put in there. So I'm going to make this a little flatter without any flip outs or anything, but I do want to make something interesting. So I have here, and I put this away here, I have here a sheet, and I don't know why I sewed around all of this ahead of time, because I got to sew it over again. But this is going to be a pocket in here. So I've got this cardstock, Tim Holtz cardstock like paper to put in there, and I want to, like I say, I want to make this interesting. So my idea is to have sort of like torn, a series of torn pieces of paper that goes like this, I guess. All right, I think, no. Goes like this. Okay. So I'm just going to slip a piece behind there. And then for this one, I'm going to tear again, just so that it peeks out. Don't want too much. So just come down. And this is kind of the way I am putting these different layers in here. All right, so let me get these glued in. There we go. All right, so that looks really nice. I'm liking that. And we'll just go over here and trim off the edges a little bit. Make it a little straighter, like so. And now I'm going to tear this part. So I saved this part for last so that I know how much to leave after I've done the other layers. And I'm just going to get in there and maybe just come up like that. All right. So this then is a torn pocket that's ready. And what I will do once it's dried, I am going to sew around the edges, and I might sew down here. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do there. I might just leave that the way it is. And being that it's cardstock, it should be fine. And then I can glue this onto my pocket here. And glue down the two sides, and maybe, no, just the two sides. I'm going to leave this side, this and this open right here, and just glue, no, just glue this and this. Yep, I'm going to leave this side open. All right, so let me go ahead and get that done. So I am so excited that it's really done. The construction part of it is finished. I still have little pieces of, I'm going to be putting ephemera in this big pocket and little pieces here and there, but it's pretty much finished. I am going to do a little bit more here in front, but I wanted to just show you really fast that here in the spine, this is where the papers or the journal, the writing part of it is going to rest. It's going to rest inside here. And to make this, and you know, I'll be folding paper in half like so, and bigger than this, but that's how that'll work in here. So to make it a removable and refillable journal, I put in eyelets here at the top and the bottom along this spine. If you remember, we reinforced that spine with some heavier cardboard. And so I put these two in here, and I will be taking elastic then and just stringing it inside. And this makes the spine, something you don't have to sew. Now you could very well, you know, sew in a journal. That would be great too. I kind of like this idea, and this folio can be used for, you know, a long time. And just simply put this in. I might go ahead and put in a double loop in here, and doing that just because the person then can divide the journal up a little bit and put some here and some there if you know, if they want to have two different sections and kind of, you know, do it that way. Now if this was a wider spine, then I would put in 2 eyelets at each end and then have each one have their own string of elastic in it. I know for jewelry making it can be thinner than this, but I went ahead and just got one that's a little bit thicker just because we're dealing with more papers, and just simply come in here and give it a tie. That's all we have to do. Make it pretty tight in there, and because over time, you know, sometimes elastic can loosen up over time, and that way the person has plenty of elastic in case they want to make it a little thicker. They can just make it with 1 strand if they want to make it tighter, but it'll be tight for quite a while. So there is where the papers are going to rest inside that. I put on a eyelet here, a piece of fabric that I've torn, some Tim Holtz fabric. I just tore a little strip of that off, and this is what I'm going to be using, oops, to close the journal with. Just going to thread it through like so and simply wrap it around like this, and voila. This is going to be the tie for the front. I don't know if I'll do a bow, probably won't, but anyways, this is going to be the closure. It's this fabric piece. Okay, so that is how I'm going to do that, and I'm so excited. So yeah, please vote on the stripe or the printed one, and we will see which one ends up being the winner. And thank you so much for viewing, and I'm going to be, probably the next video on this folio is going to be one that I put it in the shop, and I have also my next journal is going to have fairies. Yeah, this is like a big departure from the grunge, right? I'm going to have this little book I found at the thrift store, and I'm going to be making a journal with the fairies in it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be something different. So thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you later. Bye.